Welcome everyone to the inaugural show of Chapman Connects. And for our inaugural show, we have what I consider the capo di capi. I don't know if you know what that means, but you've heard the head of the heads, capo di capi. We have the CEO of CEOs here with us as our guest, Mike Mussallem. It's an honor and privilege to have you on the show, Mike.
Thank you, Jim.
Let me just tell you a little bit about Mike. He heads up the largest public company in Orange County, and that's Edwards Lifesciences. He's been the CEO since its spin out from Baxter Labs back in the year 2000. So it's really only 20 years old, 5,000 employees, and the products that are produced in terms of aortic valves, many other medical products, has revolutionized cardiac care around the world. And to give you just one data point, to give you an idea how significant, 650,000 patients around the world. When I say around the world, we're talking about 100 countries. These 650,000 patients have benefited from transcatheter aortic valves developed at Edwards. We're also going to talk about some of the philanthropic initiatives of Edwards, which is incredible. But I'm going to relate one personal story, and because I think it really brings to bear the significance of Edwards Lifesciences and the impact it's had on people's lives. I have a very, very close friend. His name is Paul Musco. He's like a brother to me. And about 4 years ago, he was having serious health challenges, heart trouble, and it slowed him down. If you know Paul, you would know when he slowed down because he was like a human dynamo. And turns out that he needed, it was only one valve in the world that could help him in his condition, and it was an Edwards aortic valve. And it was the only, I think it was the only company that produced that valve. And he had that operation, and I saw him before the operation and then after, and it was a transformation. It was like the Paul of old has come back. And I just spoke with him today. He's 94 years old and going strong. And he said to thank you and Edwards Lifesciences for saving his life.
Yeah.
And multiply that by 650,000 to get an idea of what your impact. So congratulations, and my goodness, thank you for doing it in Orange County of all places.
Well, thanks, Jim, and you know it's my pleasure to be here. I'm really proud of Chapman University and the kind of incredible role that the university plays in our community to lift us up and all of the incredible success. Obviously, I'm proud of our own company, and actually it's 5,000 folks just here in Orange County. We're 14,000 around the world, so we've been fortunate to be growing, and the most fortunate thing we get to do is to know that our work really helps patients, right? It takes people that really don't have a great future in front of them, and when you have a heart valve that's working, then all of a sudden you've got blood that now pumps through your body like it never did before, and it changes everything, and your quality of life improves so much. And it's just a treat for us to be involved, to see people just get a better life ahead.
Yeah, well, I know that when you took over, when it was spun out from Baxter, it was about 10% of the value of Baxter Labs at the time, and now I think when you take the market caps, it's significantly more. That happened during your leadership. We have a lot of young leaders out there, old CEOs as well, and even this old former CEO here. And I can't help but ask the question, do you have any leadership attributes that you think were very important in this incredible growth that took place in the organization?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to distill it down to a few things, but you know, first of all, what we were just talking about, this impact on patients, the purpose of the company. If as a leader you can help transmit to everybody in the organization the importance of their work. We say, you know what, here's what we do every day. We give patients better lives, and if we keep the patients at center and know that your work, it doesn't just give you a nice paycheck and it doesn't just give you some great benefits, but it's really helping people. You're able to attract the best and the brightest, and they put their heart and soul into that. So that's really important. We also very carefully thought about our strategy. We decided not to be broad and try and do everything, but to stay focused and pick a few things out and try and be really good at that. And focus helped us a lot. We decided we were going to be innovators, and everybody says that, but we decided we would be bold innovators, like really go for it. Let's go for change the practice of medicine kind of innovations, which by their nature are high risk, but the rewards are also incredible. There's a burden of responsibility that when you have that great idea on a napkin, you actually have to take it all the way and create a lot of evidence of why it's better. So it's a long-term commitment, but if you stay at it and you always do what's right for patients, you can carry the day. And we also have a simple philosophy that says we like to go first. To be the first, to be the leader, which takes some courage. It's easy to say that. It's a lot easier to watch somebody else stumble and fall in front and go down the path the first time. But if you're willing to take the risk, to go somewhere where no one else has gone, you tend to learn faster than others. And you also tend to be in the room with the thought leaders that might help you craft the way to get it done. And we feel like that's a good trade-off for us. So those are a few of the elements that are really key to us.
That really resonates with me, particularly that focus you're talking about, to be the best in a few things rather than try to do everything. Which brings back the fact that when Baxter spun it out, I can't help but think, since I've been involved as a member of board of directors for corporations where there have been spin-outs, they're usually problem childs. It's a good way to make your job easier, make it a separate company. So there had to be problems, and probably didn't have the focus that you're talking about. So did you have to make tough decisions in terms of some products that you either sold off, divisions that you sold off, or even ceased production?
Yeah, the perfect question, and you said it well. We were the underperformer. So we were 10% of Baxter, we're probably the worst performing. So in terms of our growth rate, our profitability, et cetera.
So more than 10% of headaches for the CEO.
No doubt about it. And I was running it, amongst other things, and so I kind of owned that. And when we analyzed what was wrong, and you had to understand that during that time, the 90s, sort of in cardiovascular health, everybody was booming, and we weren't. But what was missing was innovation. We were kind of running it as a business that, looking at turning your cash and efficiency and those kind of factors as opposed to really driving innovation. And we decided that was going to be key for us. And so to go from this slow-moving, underperforming and to become a high-energy innovator was going to be a long run, and you had to paint a picture for employees and say, stay with us. It's going to take a while. You had to take things that you knew that might have been great legacy products and say, this is not going to have a bright future. Let's leave those behind. Let's sell those. And let's decide where we're going to put our chips in the future. Every time we got a couple nickels together, we put it into R&D spending. And eventually now we've worked our way up. It started out at about 5% of our sales went to R&D. Now it's about 17% of our sales, and it's a lot more sales, so it's much more spending. And so we've gone after it and also tried to change the culture along the way to eliminate blaming when things didn't go well and to have more of a culture that said, yeah, we're going to learn, right? When we go try bold things, we're going to be wrong, and we're probably going to be wrong a lot. But that's part of it, and if we allow ourselves to admit it, raise our hands and say, I was wrong, but allow me to adjust, we're going to be a better company. And so all those kind of ingredients went into it, and it's been a fun journey. And I can't speak enough about the incredible people that have joined the organization and have helped move us ahead.
Did you learn these business attributes on the job, or was it from your education, or do you have a mentor or epiphany that brought it on? How did it happen?
I mostly learned by my own mistakes. I pretty much made them all.
That's a great lesson in and of itself.
It is.
Everybody's going to make mistakes, but if you can learn from them, well, that's the silver lining.
Absolutely. I mean, I really tried to become a student of where does innovation come from? And so particularly in medical technology, how come small companies seem to be such great innovators and big companies don't? And you start looking at small companies, you have focused teams, right, that don't do anything else. They either get rewarded with great rewards or they're out of work. If you're inside a big company, that doesn't happen. You get funded to the next milestone. You're not in an annual budget kind of process. You have this just a different profile across the board. You're not so focused on efficiency, you're just focused on getting things done. In a big company, we might say, oh, they only need a third of a regulatory person. And in a small company, that's what everybody gets up.
And you were able to put your board of directors together, right, as a spin-out?
We were.
How important was your board in terms of helping you, supporting you, mentoring?
Yeah, we were very fortunate. We were able to attract a board of directors that was a little over our heads, people that ended up believing in the vision and wanting to go for it, and they were extraordinarily generous and thoughtful and knowledgeable, and gave me kind of the courage and the backbone and the support to keep going and to
allow you to
go
make the
for it.
mistakes that you learned from, right?
Absolutely. So I've just been blessed by being around great board members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're growing and you're doing well in Orange County's largest company. What are the challenges of being located at your company headquarters in Orange County? I know you're expanding as I go by and watch it. It seems like Edwards is always growing.
Yeah.
What are some of the factors that led you to decide Orange County is our place?
Well, we had roots here. So when Lowell Edwards, who the company's named after, came in 1960, he came from Oregon, and this is where he planted his flag. And there's something powerful. I mean, the people, the bright people and the know-how that are associated with this, it's something to build on. And so we had that as a foundation and a base. And you get a chance to reassess and say, should I pick up and go somewhere else? But in our case, it's never been about chasing a lower labor rate. It's always been about the quality of people that we can attract, because what we do is tough. We try and solve tough problems, change the way that medicine's practiced in a positive way. And so that's the essence of what we do. And Orange County has proven to be a place that we're quite comfortable. Now, of course, it's not the least expensive place around, and yes, we have a fair amount of regulations being part of the state of California, but we've decided that that's a price that we're willing to pay. And we've been able to attract great talent from all over the world. And we've grown a lot in Irvine, and we just we're putting up another 350,000 square feet of building as we speak. Yeah.
No, I wrote an article, in fact it was an LA Times op-ed years ago, but it was analyzing Lowell Edwards and the entrepreneurial spirit that he infused Edwards with. And people don't realize that Orange County is one of the medical products capitals of the world. Many of the leaders who started those companies came from Edwards at the time, and maybe they lost that with American Hospital Supply when it acquired a big company, then Baxter lost some of that entrepreneurial spirit, but you were evidently able to get it back. But people don't realize how important Edwards is to Orange County in terms of the kind of value added that we present to, and the opportunities for employment that we give came early on through
your
Lowell Edwards'
your
vision.
point is well made. If you look at the companies that came out of Edwards, and there's a few other examples, like Allergan's in that category, I think Beckman Coulter was in that category, and that really helped create a medical community in Orange County that continues to be a strength to this day.
Now, I know with COVID, that was a theme of our update forecast, and I know that cardiac patients probably had to delay surgery, so it certainly had to impact your revenues and your Edwards patients. And now, is there a backlog? Are you tell us about the transition and how COVID has affected Edwards Lifesciences?
Sure, I'll be happy to talk about it. I'm a little bit hesitant because we're late in June. We report quarters, and so I can't be completely transparent. But let me give you the big picture. We were off to a fabulous start this year, growing above expectations, probably at a 20% plus rate until middle of March, and then things came to a screeching halt. It was remarkable because what hospitals did was to basically clear the decks, create capacity, stop doing procedures, be prepared for the surge of COVID-19 patients. And so we were dramatically impacted. And when we gave guidance for the rest of the year, we said Q2 is going to be ugly, right? It's going to be low volumes. We expect to be sort of gradually recovering in the third quarter, and we hope to be somewhat recovered in the fourth quarter. And so we're sort of anticipating that, and it's largely happened. Right now you see procedures are coming back. Hospitals, interestingly enough, if you look at it from their perspective, they need procedures because that's what they get paid for.
Yeah.
And so they're already operate on thin margins.
they're
and so when
incentivized.
they want to go.
Yeah.
But the bigger impact is the impact on patients, because when something like COVID-19 hits, and it's a pandemic and it's in the news every minute, it causes patients to be fearful from entering the healthcare system. And when they have disease like our cardiovascular disease, like a heart valve disease that's progressive, then they don't get it treated. And we know that, for example, our aortic stenosis patients will have a 3-4% mortality at 30 days and a 12% mortality at 3 months. And so delaying is very serious. And so do they properly make those trade-offs? Good question, but it's not good. It's not a good time to have a patient with other conditions.
In terms of the negative consequences of people who didn't receive.
Yeah, and we don't have great numbers on that yet.
No.
We hear a lot of anecdotal stories, as you can imagine, but I think the health toll that came from the pandemic is going to go well beyond what just happened with the COVID-19 patients. It's going to be all these other conditions. And even today, when I talk to people that are running systems, they tell me their emergency rooms in many cases are still only running at 50%. And so you wonder, okay, what is that about, right?
Wow. Now, I know your central administration probably could went virtual in terms of working from home. But what about your manufacturing facilities? Did those continue?
Yeah, they did. So we are considered part of the essential vital healthcare infrastructure. So our supply chain kept going. So out of our 14,000 people, more than half continue to come in and to build products every day, and we were really proud of that. They've just been incredible, overcoming all kinds of obstacles that you can't imagine, to make sure that we kept producing. And so we were able to keep supply lines strong. And as you said, those other folks, when we had two groups, some that are, as you say, more in the administrative roles, they all immediately became virtual and did all miracle jobs from doing it virtually. And then we had other folks that work in hospitals every day, and so they needed to figure out, okay, how to stay safe and support the various hospitals that they're in when they have this new threat in each of these hospitals, and also accommodate those needs.
Yeah, wow. So will your virtual or hybrid workers continue that way, or will they be coming back to the campus?
So we have this big discussion going on right now, and we have so many of our employees that say, wow, I just have been able to be extraordinarily productive, and it's been true. It's been remarkable. But when we look at what makes Edwards special and what we try and do, we're innovators, we're problem solvers, we do really difficult things. We find that when we have, and we try and co-locate intact teams, that when we have teams together, and these are diverse teams, people with different backgrounds, different histories, different in every way, when they work together and get ideas from each other, we think they're better. And so we're not so sure that you can replicate that virtually, because so many interesting, innovative, and creative ideas come from casual collisions and just sharing ideas that it wasn't the agenda, but it happened anyway, and it gave me an idea that we think it's part of our magic. And so we are gradually trying to come back, and we're targeting to try and we're fortunate to be on a pretty big campus with a lot of outdoor space, so we're shooting to be around 50% back here over the next month or so. So we're gradually working away, and we work really hard at making sure that we create a very safe environment, so that when you're at Edwards, you feel safer than almost anywhere else that you're going to be. So we take all the precautions that you might imagine. So that's kind of where we are right now, but we're learners. We know that every day we need to stay aware of what's going on with the pandemic and what we might do from a policy perspective to adapt to whatever just happened yesterday.
Well, what you just said about the importance of bumping into each other, part of Edwards' culture, and in terms of the impact on innovation. One can argue or say the same thing about higher ed or scientific advance. Seems like some of my best ideas that have led to different lines of research didn't happen as a result of a agenda on a Zoom meeting or a formal meeting, but it may have been bumping into a fellow scholar and, oh, what are you working on, and how was that problem you were dealing with, and just talking it through.
That might be a great research project for Chapman to take on and say, can
how,
you measure that? Right?
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that, you know, we had to spend half a semester online with our students rather than working with them. And the same thing I think is true in the faculty-student interaction, the old line of two people on a log, and that's the best way to learn.
And I don't, you know, again, I don't mean to minimize the incredible things that people have accomplished online. I mean, they really, they've kept our company going, and they've kept the economy going to a great extent. So there's an amazing amount that's been done, right?
If there's some magic elixir, a way to combine the benefit of that efficiency with that innovation that happens by bringing people physically together.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the key. Well, keep me posted on that one.
Okay, we will.
That'll be very, very interesting. Well, I want you to talk a little bit about Every Heartbeat Matters, which is an important philanthropic initiative. I think one of the things that makes Edwards special.
No, thank you. Well, you know, we have this basic philosophy that we want to give back to the community. And be givers, not takers from the community. And people say, yeah, I'm glad Edwards is around for that reason. But we also know with something like philanthropy, if you don't have a clear goal, there's so many opportunities that you don't have the focus to really make a difference. And so we decided back in 2014 to have a signature program that was going to consume the bulk of, the largest part of the Edwards Lifesciences Foundation's work. And we called it Every Heartbeat Matters, and it said that we were going to impact the lives of 1 million underserved people that suffer from heart valve disease. And we were going to do it through charitable partners, and that we would do it through the education, screening, and treatment of 1 million people. And that was our goal in 2014. And we were fortunate that we accomplished it a couple years early. We bumped the goal up to 1.5 million people and accomplished that earlier this year, and just launched an Every Heartbeat Matters 2 that we've set goals for 2025 to have even broader impact. So it's worked remarkably well. We have over 50 fantastic partners around the world that just do a great job of changing the lives of underserved people that otherwise wouldn't be able to get access.
Are these hospitals or healthcare organizations?
So they're all kinds of things. So they're various healthcare organizations. Sometimes they're hospitals. They're teams of hospitals that go out and do charitable mission in a country that's dramatically underserved. So there'll even be local systems. There'll be places like the American Heart Association, who we do have a great partnership that we help them, help fund their research and education through everything from heart walks to heart balls and you name it. But more importantly, it's focused on this underserved group. And it can exist in the US, for example, there is underserved. So we see, for example, that whether it's the Black community or the Hispanic community or other minorities communities, they don't have the same level of treatment that's available in many other communities. So understanding why, what can we do about it? Can we make a difference? Can we move that needle? An association like the Association of Black Cardiologists play a very active role of educating, advancing public policy. So it's those kind of partnerships that we feel like really make a difference.
If there's a member of an underserved community, like a Paul Musco, that needs this state-of-the-art aortic valve, but can't afford it, is that the kind of person that this organization can help?
They can. So again, we do it through our charitable partners. So if they contact us directly, of course, we'll put them in touch with the proper partner. And then naturally, a lot of this happens outside the U.S. as well. So you can imagine there are so many underserved people around the world. So that's probably even the bulk of it is outside the U.S. But it's everywhere, and it just the energy we get from the passion of people that are engaged in that and the joy that they have in being able to touch folks. We're able to tell that story to our employees, and it gives our employees a sense of pride to know that, you know, part of the reason that they're working here is going to touch people that otherwise wouldn't be touched.
A future guest on Chapman Connects is going to be Mark Percy, who's the president of the CEO Leadership Alliance, OC. And he's told me, we've talked, we're good friends, and he's told me how important you've been in helping that, nurture that organization, and also its founding. And I know how important it is to the future of Orange County. Tell us a little about your role in that, and how you see it important for a CEO, as busy as you are, to contribute to the county in that kind of way.
Yeah, well, Orange County is home for us, and we're proud of Orange County, and as I said, what a great place to live and work and so forth, and there's a lot good about it. But when we listen, and some of it is listening to the work that's done by the economists right here at Chapman, say Orange County's future is going to be good. It's going to be better than places like maybe Detroit or some other industrialized cities, but maybe not be so great as it could be. And so we ask ourselves, as community leaders, what could we do to make a difference? Could we create a future for Orange County that was great, not just good? What's missing? What was going to be important for the future of Orange County? And some of it is an orientation toward those kind of jobs that are really going to be in great demand, that are going to create the future. Often it's STEM kind of jobs. But it's also just connecting folks within the community. If you look at, you know, how we prepare the educational system that goes up to the 12th grade, how well is that wired to create the kind of graduates that will go on to universities and then into the workforce? How about our own universities? We graduate so much talent who end up leaving the area and going all over the world. How about our brand? Who's managing the brand of Orange County? You know, there's a lot of just misnomers about it. And then there's, in our view, not enough capital in Orange County to fund the business creation that should be funded.
Yeah, we don't have that VC funding like other areas have.
So we say there's some tangible things we can do, right? If we get, you know, we use some of our business skills. We try and stay behind the scenes. We're not looking for credit. We just want to have a vital, you know, bright future for Orange County. Yeah.
Well, speaking of being behind the scenes, I want to say publicly how important you were during the time I served as president, and I know how important you are to Daniele Strupa, especially in terms of what you did in helping us move forward our health science initiatives, our Rinker Health Science Campus, our pharmacy program. I know the discussions we had about that, physician assistance program, what you've done in helping us found the Fowler School of Engineering, advance our science school, and the Keck Science Center. So on behalf of our Chapman community, thank you for being the silent partner in all of that, but indispensable in terms of helping make it happen.
Thank you.
Privileged having you on the show.
Thank you. You're very kind, Jim, and it's our pleasure. We're proud to be the home of many great Chapman graduates as well, and so it's a great synergistic relationship, and we're proud to be in the same community with Chapman University. And on a personal level, Jim, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.